Good.
That's what I have going on. So one of the really more important things to say is the bigger the amount of clay on the wheel, the slower the wheel wants to be going.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that you'd think you would sort of figure these things out earlier. I think I was above 65 when a buddy of mine and I were doing some chore, and we had to put a hole through a piece of hardwood. And I put it on my drill press in the drill, that one, in the wood shop in the bottom basement of my house. And it's going, and I go like that and just and stops. He says, "Oh, you got it on the fast one, put it on the slower belt." And I said, "Why do I want to do that?" He said, "Well, slower belt, more torque." I was like, that's why you want to be throwing slowly, because you're putting more of the energy you're putting into moving the clay is getting to the clay if it's going slower. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, you see people pick up, and when they're doing a big piece, they put it on real fast.
Right.
It's going to kill them.
Yeah.
So the other thing that the Northern English guys say is the bigger the piece of clay, so maybe 1 to 3 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
6 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds.
Ooh.
So the bigger this gets, the farther up your arm you're using, because you don't want to hurt your hands.
Yeah. Now, which one of the leeches did you kind of study a little bit on?
Well, I was friends with, my father he started the Chicago School of Design.
Right.
With a guy named Moholy Nagy. Moholy was the founder, and then there were these two Hungarians, Moholy Nagy and Jerry Kepes. And then my dad was, like I say, a Jewish guy from Chicago, and he went off to Paris, and in the 20s and in the 30s, when he got back, these two guys were trying to start an art school. And it worked. Did you hear the
Yes,
pull
I
of the
heard that pull.
That's from the torque.
Yeah.
But at any rate, one of the modern art guys of that period was a Hungarian sculptor named Nam Gabó, who was, so Alexander Calder was another one that was here, sort of modern art guys. And anyway, so all these guys with the Second World War, they kind of went through England and got English wives. So Gabó had an English wife, and the two of them had gone to this little art community of St. Ives in 1920. Well, 1921, I'm making up the numbers a little bit, but
Right.
So the Gabos got there earlier, and then Leach showed up with Hamada,
Okay.
and they were friends. So, being that I grew up around all these sort of famous artists here in Connecticut, Miriam Gabó said, "You got to go visit Barnard and his wife."
Mm-hmm.
He had married a Texan named Janet. Janet Leach was his second wife. But so, by the time I got to know them, that was Barnard. His eyes were bad. He couldn't throw. He was living in a cottage near the pottery on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So for setting up for this, again, slower is a lot better.
Right.
Now, from getting this first hole going in, this next hole I learned from the Portuguese potters, and you come up from the bottom, and you just cut in.
It's almost like making a donut and pulling up in the end at you.
Well, doing this kind of cut
Yeah.
saves about 10 minutes of fussing around getting the clay.
Right.
So that kind of opening you see in Spain and Portugal especially, and the English potters like Witchford have picked it up. Okay, so from getting the clay compressed on the inside, and I think with band 36, I'm going to make this a little bit wider. But the big trick is to set up the mass in such a way, I'm going to show you here. So stay there with the camera, but
Okay.
the idea is if you have the bottom of the pot and there's this material like this, what you want to do is you want to make an indentation underneath that you are, pushing in on.
Right.
So you then have to choose the distance for where you're pushing out.
Okay.
Bring the camera around this way, because
Yeah.
if you're looking at it, this is the pot.
That's the pot right there.
So you're coming in at it from here, and you decide to push out above. The distance between those two things is the clay that you're moving.
Mm-hmm.
This is the really important thing, because when you're throwing smaller pots, you're used to having your hands this close together.
Yeah.
Well, this first move, they're about here, so you're moving that amount of clay. That's why, there are people, if they're not used to throwing bigger pots,
Yeah.
it takes them hours to get the clay to go up
I
because they're not leaving enough space, and nobody believes it till they do it.
Okay. Well, I know I work any place from, as long as I'm not making a lot of trinkets or something, that are
Yeah.
1 pound or whatever. I normally I like to throw between any place from 2 to 12 pounds. And I normally do not, I'll put both hands together, and when I go to open it up, after I've coned it just enough, made my indentation, I'll open it up right in the front, just like what you're doing, pulling in the back.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I'm going to now set up that now all of this material, you still want it to be coming in constantly.
Yes.
So I'm going to use the heel of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the easiest first move is actually to do it on this side. And again, holding it from the inside. But this isn't that big a piece of clay, so it kind of didn't matter.
Okay.
But so I'm going to do a setup for that first real pull now. So I'm pushing in to make an indentation, and I'm going to be pushing out about here.
Okay.
And even this is too fast. So now I'm going to I slowed it down just a wee bit. Now this pull, I'm going to
Take it from the outside.
have it, it's exactly the same, but I'm just doing a little bit closer together. do a Beecher
Okay.
because I know a lady who wants one of these.
Yeah, the wife and I, we've been trying to come out here every other year to the East Coast. We normally go to Rockport area.
Pretty.
Yes, very beautiful.
You know, there's a little bit of inconsistency in the material right here, so I'm just fighting my way through it. Now, this guy, I should put this in the water about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I want this edge to be so I have a little 6x6 that I stand on.
Mm-hmm.
I took the mask off while I was working. Well, got this Delta thing.
It'll kick itself out after 27 minutes.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought it was out.
Yeah, after 27 minutes, it'll shut itself off.
Oh, and then it starts back up?
And you gotta start it back
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
need her start.
That's okay. I wasn't sure if it had enough juice in it to.
I was counting down
yeah.
for her. I thought
Yeah,
you
gonna start out with some stuff that we received or purchased. So, hey, you know, this is a piece of his. It's a nice piece that they made, and that was 2021. You know, that was this year's stuff. So, hey, then I had another piece here that Guy made. That's a 4-pounder. You know, so really nice stuff. It's got a crown on it, number 4, Guy Wolff, you know. So here's another crown piece. This is a 2-pounder. So yeah, and he signs all his stuff. So I really like his stuff. You know, this was his book that he did, and while I was there, I was very fortunate. He did sign it, and I have truly enjoyed being with him. He is an amazing potter. He really, truly is. So, and his artwork is very, very good. You know, hey, you know. So, all I can say is meeting Guy, talking to him, and then him helping, or let's say, in a sense, he taught me a few things on pottery, on making the big pieces. And I'm going to tell you what, he is an amazing person on making large pieces of pottery. So, I have enjoyed myself with him, and, you know, and gotten to see a lot of things that he showed me, even some of his let's say his private collection. He did show me those, but I enjoyed what he did show me, and I enjoyed what he taught me while I was there. So he's an amazing person. So this has been an amazing venture for going to see Guy Wolff. So hey, all I can say is, this is Eddie's Pottery. Bye for now.